Hello there, thanks for joining us. In this video, we're going to be talking about whether or not you are able to immigrate to Canada without first having to do an English language test, an IELTS test. So we'll have much more on this after the break. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and check us out on our website at go.gooselaw.com. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. My name is Donovan Francis and I'm a Canadian immigration lawyer, and I help skilled workers inside Canada and outside Canada to become Canadian permanent residents without having to deal with all of the complicated legal forms that are part of that process. One of the questions we get asked often is whether or not somebody who wants to come to Canada, whether as a visitor or as a permanent resident, whether or not that person must first complete an English language test or a French language test if they're a French speaker. And the answer to that question is no. You do not have to complete an English language test or a French language test in order for you to come to Canada. However, if you're wanting to immigrate to Canada as a permanent resident, then you will have to complete the English language test at some point. Now, Canada generally has two tests that it allows persons who are wanting to come to Canada to write. So you can either write what's called the IELTS, which is the International English Language Test, or you can write the CELPIP, which is the other option for English speakers. There's a separate test for speakers of French that French speakers may also write. But ultimately, if you're wanting to come to Canada as a permanent resident, then you will have to write a language test. And the score that you need to get will vary depending on the category you're applying under. For instance, if you're applying under the Federal Skilled Worker Program, then you're going to have to score in and around 7 or above using the Canadian language benchmark. While if you're applying as a skilled under the Federal Skilled Trades Program, then the minimum required score is going to be lower. However, if you're wanting to come to Canada as a student, you're not required to write an English language test. Similarly, if you're wanting to come to Canada as a worker on a work permit, there's no requirement for you to write an English language test or any language test for that matter. Also, if you are being sponsored by a Canadian permanent resident or Canadian citizen to come to Canada, there's no requirement for you to write this English language test. And so the answer again to that question is it depends. If you are wanting to come as a permanent resident, then you will have to write an English language test or a French language test. However, if you're coming as a temporary resident or if you're being sponsored by a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, you have no obligation. There's no requirement for you to complete either of the language tests. So I hope you found this useful. And as always, do remember to hit the subscribe button and like this video. And always remember to check us out on our website at go.gooselaw.com.